If you're planning to buy a new camera but are overwhelmed by the choices, it's not just you. Even us reviewers have had trouble keeping up with all the models released recently. Early last year, Olympus, now called OM, released its superb wildlife camera, the OM1. And just last week, Sony unveiled its ultimate vlogging camera, the ZV-E1. In between, we've seen a number of impressive offerings from Nikon, Fujifilm, and Canon as well. My aim here is to get you caught up on all of these models as quickly as possible. I'll also discuss the latest tech like AI that points to the industry's future. It's exciting times, and I expect the rest of 2023 to be just as interesting. Before we get into specific cameras, let's look at trends in technology and the market overall. First off, camera sales are still dropping as smartphones continue to crush the low and mid ranges. The good news though is that DSLR and mirrorless sales have stabilized over the last few years, with mirrorless accounting for up to 80% of units shipped. As such, manufacturers are laser focused on users who still need the features and qualities of these cameras. Many of these buyers are content creators and vloggers. To attract them, most new cameras have vlogger-friendly features like fully articulating screens, improved audio, and smarter video autofocus. Manufacturers are also focused on speed, video quality, and AI smarts. For example, we're seeing more stacked sensors that allow for reduced rolling shutter and faster autofocus. Those sensors first appeared on high-end Sony cameras, but are now coming to cheaper models too. Over the last year, they featured in the OM1 and Fujifilm X-H2S, both priced under $2,500. In terms of video, Panasonic used to be alone offering high-end functions like 10-bit and log video that allowed for improved quality. However, nearly every new mirrorless camera released this year has one or both of those options. Meanwhile, AI has powered improvements in autofocus speeds and subject tracking. The latest models can now detect birds, animals, and even objects like cars and trains with more accuracy than ever. One unfortunate trend is that cameras keep getting more expensive. Since early 2022, just a few models under $1,000 have been released, with many well over $2,000. So what does all that mean for you? Despite the higher prices, a lot of the new tech is trickling down to cheaper models, so with some careful shopping, you should be able to find one that fits your needs and budget. Now, let's talk about key new models. As mentioned, 2022 started with OM Systems' $2,200 20-megapixel OM1. It's the first micro four thirds camera with a stacked sensor, allowing for extremely fast 50 frame per second burst speeds and improved autofocus. It also has serious video chops with 10-bit 4K capture at up to 60 frames per second. Another key micro four thirds model released in early 2022 was Panasonic's GH6. Other than the weak contrast detect autofocus, it's a vlogging beast, offering up to 6K ProRes video capture, incredible in-body stabilization, and great handling. May 2022 saw the arrival of Canon's first APS-C RF mount cameras, the $1,500 32-megapixel R7 and $980 24-megapixel R10. The latter is one of the few new cameras under $1,000, but it offers solid features like a 10-bit video and fast burst speeds. The R7, meanwhile, is Canon's best APS-C mirrorless camera so far, thanks to the fast speeds and great video features. Fujifilm's first stacked sensor camera, the 26-megapixel X-H2S, went on sale just a week later at $2,500. It's notable for the rapid burst speeds and excellent video capabilities, but it's expensive for an APS-C camera and lacks Fujifilm's retro charm. One of the most affordable new cameras, Nikon's $710 APS-C Z30, arrived in June. Designed for vloggers, it has a flip-around screen, 4K at up to 30 frames per second, and a high-quality built-in mic, but no 10-bit or log features. Next up was Hasselblad's exotic medium-format X2D100C that produces beautiful images for a very high price. A bit later, Fujifilm released the $2,000 XH2, a 40-megapixel APS-C camera with up to 8K video. It offers a nice combination of speed, video power, and resolution, albeit at a relatively high price. Sony's biggest release of 2022 was the 61-megapixel A7R5. Though it has the same sensor as the A7R4, Sony improved the autofocus, stabilization, rear display, video capabilities, and more, all without raising the price. Its greatest trick, though, is the updated AI autofocus that set a new standard for mirrorless cameras. OM System's first camera without Olympus branding, the 20 megapixel $1,200 OM5, while largely similar to the EM5 Mark III, it's a solid camera and one of the few in its price range with in-body stabilization. Two important models launched on November 2nd last year, the Fujifilm X-T5 and Canon R6 Mark II. The X-T5 has the same 40 megapixel sensor as the X-H2, but is limited to 6.2K instead of 8K video. It's cheaper though and offers manual controls that should appeal to Fujifilm traditionalists. The 24 megapixel R6 II improves on the R6, eradicating most of the overheating issues. It's also one of the best hybrid cameras with fast burst shooting speeds, solid video specs, excellent autofocus, and good battery life. Early in 2023, Panasonic launched its most important consumer camera in years, the full-frame S5 II. It's the company's first phase detect AF camera without the focus wobble and hunting seen on past models. It also features 6K video, impressive stabilization, and more. The S5 IIX, arriving later this year, adds SSD storage for higher quality video. Canon launched two models in February 2023, the full-frame R8 and APS-C R50. The latter is the cheapest R-series camera yet at $680, but it still offers features like uncropped 4K 10-bit video and 15 frame per second burst shooting speeds. The $1,500 R8, meanwhile, is Canon's budget full-frame camera, offering oversampled 4K 60p 10-bit video and 40 frame per second burst speeds. And finally, Sony's full-frame vlogging powerhouse, the 12 megapixel ZV-E1, arrived in late March. It offers some impressive features for the $2,200 price, like incredible low-light sensitivity, 10-bit 4K capture, a flip-out screen, powerful 5-axis optical stabilization, and neat AI tricks like auto-framing and multiple face recognition. So what to make of all this? I think Sony's ZV-E1 is the most important model of the bunch, as it combines the best aspects of cameras and AI tech. It offers quality that can't be matched by a phone, and finally delivers useful AI tricks like auto-framing that haven't been done on mobile yet. The other takeaway is that there are very few bad cameras in development these days, and models rumored to come later this year like Canon's R1, the Nikon Z8, and the Sony A9 III could be even more interesting. Despite a shrinking market, competition is still strong, and if you decide to upgrade from a smartphone to a new camera, you may be astonished at what it can do. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. And for more on technology, check out Engadget.com.